Today, Bitcoin breaks through $72,000 for the very first time. Former President Donald Trump signals he's more open to cryptocurrencies. And Sandy Carter of Unstoppable Domains explains how developers are making blockchain and AI work together. Bitcoin keeping its momentum through the weekend, breaking above $72,000 for the very first time this morning. By noon Eastern, it jumped nearly 4%, but briefly touched a fresh record of $72,750 earlier this morning. By midday, Ether climbed more than 3%, trading above the $4,000 mark after hitting its highest level since December 2021 this morning. And Solana also rose more than 3%, inching closer to $150. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. MicroStrategy just bought 12,000 more Bitcoin to add to its stockpile. Michael Saylor, the company's executive chairman, posted on X this morning that the company spent about $822 million worth of Bitcoin using cash and money generated by a convertible note sale, something the company announced last week. Saylor also said that the company now holds around 205,000 Bitcoin. He also came on Squawk Box this morning to talk about the Bitcoin buy, and here's what he had to say.
What's going on here? MicroStrategy's got leverage. If we borrowed $800 million at 62 basis points, is there any company in the world that you wouldn't like to invest in that could borrow $1 billion at less than 1% interest to invest in your best idea? So we get that very intelligent leverage. It's non-recourse, it's unsecured, and then we buy Bitcoin with it. That leverage gives us volatility. It gives us performance. The performance gives us volatility. The volatility attracts capital, and we can then leverage more. It's kind of intelligent because it's convertible debt. It's given our shareholders more Bitcoin per share this week than they had a few weeks ago.
Next, former President Donald Trump also joined Squawk Box this morning, where he talked crypto. The presumptive Republican presidential nominee said that he doesn't own any Bitcoin, but suggested he might not crack down on the crypto industry.
It's an additional form of currency. And I used to say, I want one currency. I want the dollar. I don't want people leaving the dollar. And I feel that way. But I will tell you, it has taken on a life.
Now, this is a notable change from former President Trump, who previously expressed concerns that crypto could weaken the U.S. dollar's global standing. Last, the UK's financial regulator has opened the door to crypto-related exchange-traded products. In a notice this morning, the Financial Conduct Authority said that it would not object to requests from recognized investment exchanges to create UK-listed crypto-backed exchange-traded notes, or ETNs. Now, these are different than ETFs in that issuers wouldn't have to hold the asset itself, and these products would only be available to institutions, not retail investors. The London Stock Exchange said it would accept applications for Bitcoin and Ether ETNs starting in the second quarter. The change comes after the U.S.'s own exchange-traded products have seen a wave of adoption. All right, let's head down to Texas for our main story. Crypto World's Mackenzie Sagallo spoke with Sandy Carter, the COO of Unstoppable Domains and a keynote speaker at this year's South by Southwest conference in Austin. They discussed the state of Web3 adoption and how developers are bringing blockchain and AI together.
So last time we spoke here on Crypto World was at South by Southwest in 2022, and you said that Web3 was still in the dial-up phase. So a lot has happened since that conversation, and I'm wondering, where do you see things now? Have we moved past that dial-up moment?
I think we still have a ways to go, Mackenzie. I think it's going to be still a little while before people adopt en masse. However, we now have 4 million people using their digital identity on Web3. We see crypto at breaking levels right now. We're seeing more and more usage, especially around tokenization, taking a physical asset and placing its digital ownership on the blockchain or on chain. And so we are seeing a lot of progress. I still think we're in that dial-up phase, though. I still think we have that 5 to 10 years to go that we chatted about last time.
So you're at South by Southwest, and the question to you, you mentioned those record-breaking numbers that we've been saying in terms of crypto tokens moving higher, Bitcoin, Ether, and a whole lot of altcoins. have seen tremendous upswing. What are people saying on the ground there? I mean, we're both in Austin at opposite ends of town right now, but what have your conversations looked like?
Yeah, most of my conversations have been going after the shiny object, which is AI. And so I did 3 panels on Friday, 3 panels on Saturday, and then a keynote on Sunday with 2 follow-up sessions. Basically, all of those were blockchain based, Web3 based, but every question was about AI plus blockchain. And we do see a lot of synergy there. In fact, I believe, Mackenzie, that blockchain will be pushed forward because of the gaps in AI. For example, ownership, monetization, transparency. We're already seeing it, breaking. I think it was yesterday was a story of Princess Kate, a picture that was manipulated by AI, but presented as a real picture. How do you prevent people from thinking something is real if it's not? Blockchain is a great way to do that. You can do a signature on it. You have trust verification. I just see so many places of synergy between blockchain and AI. I do believe that blockchain will have its time in the sun with tokenization. But right now that everybody's chasing the shiny object, I do think understanding how blockchain and AI fit together is a very important lesson and something that I've been sharing here at South by.
Do you think about decentralized identities at all, and how that might factor into, authenticity of who you are online, avoiding, again, like the deep fake conundrum that comes up with AI? It's something that the team over at Block, Jack Dorsey's company, has certainly been working on, among many others. Is that something that you've also thought about?
Yeah, in fact, that is what Unstoppable does. We produce a on-chain digital identity. It's decentralized, so because it's on-chain, and what we're preparing for and seeing today is, where do you store all those tokens? So if you've got a token for your baby item, if you have a token for your car title like California's doing, if you have a token for your attendance at the NFL Super Bowl, where do you place all of those? Well, today you could place those in an unstoppable digital identity. We also have been working really hard on trust verification. And what does that mean? Well, we've had that picture of the Pope that was floating around in his Ballman puffer jacket. We could have done a verification through an unstoppable domain to prove that it was real or not real. I think those kind of things are going to be quite useful in the future. And right now we have over 4 million of those digital identities in the world. Our mission is to get a digital identity in the hands of every single person. It's about 7 billion. So we still have a long way to go, but 4 million, a lot of progress since the last time we chatted. And if you're interested, we also are announcing a new TLD here at South by Southwest.
Oh, go on.
Yeah.
What do we need to know?
Yeah. So tomorrow, with the Greater Austin Asia Chamber of Commerce, we're announcing Austin. It will be the first city Web3 TLD that we know of anywhere. We couldn't find anybody else. There are others who have done a Web2 TLD, but it's not on chain. So this one in particular will be on chain. So this will enable, businesses, members of the Asian Chamber of Commerce to all get their Austin. They'll be able to do encrypted chats together, to plan events, to decide what education they need, to provide feedback. It's a really powerful another way to express that use case of using blockchain with a public sector entity or group as well.
Going back to crypto, I feel like these bull runs always have the net effect of bringing more people back into the ecosystem. Certainly the spot Bitcoin ETFs have been a huge driver of institutional money coming into the space in a way that it hasn't before. We're finally seeing venture money return. I feel like a lot of those venture dollars dried up and went over to AI during the last bear market. But I guess my question to you is more, what do you think it will take to pull interest back to Web3, back to these layer 2 startups? We're starting to see that build momentum, but what else needs to happen?
I think it's all these use cases. I mean, you asked the right question, Mackenzie. What is the real tangible use case? I think that's when we're going to start getting funding again. And that's when we're going to start seeing a lot of the movement going forward. For example, I'll just give you this one. So we did a dot pudgy. This is a pudgy penguin. We did a dot pudgy launch, and this little animal has a tokenized ownership. So this is a physical item, but you can tokenize the ownership through this. And then what you do is you get into this really cool game called Pudgy World. That's a great use case, especially for the next generation. Like my daughters are so excited to go into Pudgy World. It's a great use case for that tokenization in a particular segment. And I really applaud the Pudgy Penguins because what they've done is they've gone to Web 2 instead of asking Web 2 to come to them. They've created a use case, a set of demand that is really powerful. I think we need more of those out there today.
So it's Women's History Month. International Women's Day was just on Friday. You're a hugely prominent woman working in this space. And I'm curious just how you've seen it evolve in terms of female devs and entrepreneurs. Are there more now than, say, 2 years ago when we spoke?
I think we've only moved the needle a small amount. I think we need to move the needle much, much more. And I think it means, in my mind, Mackenzie, where I focus my time this International Women's Day was on getting more female founders funded. I had been hearing for a long time, well, Sandy, it's all about the business case, right? It's not personal, it's business. But recently, Emory University came out with a study that showed that female founders are actually 15% more profitable and 40% less likely to get funded. So it's not the business, guys. It's not maybe, it's something else that we have to figure out. So I'm actually going to dedicate 2024 to helping figure out what actions can we take to get more female founders funded, especially in this Web3 and AI space.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World today, but we'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you then.